I have just one more question, because you were talking about children carrying the backpacks and stuff. Like my son, I have started to see him now, because he's spending a lot more time, especially in the past year, on the iPad and electronic devices, that he's developed a kind of like a hunch, or like, you know, I mean, his posture is terrible, and we've started correcting him, and now when I'm seeing myself, so how do we correct that in children?
This is the right time. How old is he, if I may know? He is 10. This is the right age, 10 to 18 is the right age to correct their postures, because it's the growing phase. So when the growth phase is happening, the bones try to grow faster than the muscles. So it's very necessary for you to exercise the muscles also to keep pace with the bones. So the muscles also will stretch. Otherwise, what will happen? The bones are lengthening. You might have heard of children complaining, you know, my shin pain, my shin is paining, and you know, this is because their calf muscles are reluctant to stretch, but their bones are growing so fast. Especially the taller ones will have these issues more. Now I'll come to the point where, you know, give him a lot of stretching exercises which will open his shoulders. So you might want to put him into training where they'll focus on opening the chest. Basically, when you're sitting on the computer, what happens is your shoulder blades naturally start to protract. So I mean, it starts to go forward, move away from the medial line to the sides. Now you want to, that's what is rounding the shoulders and bringing the shoulder joints forward. And you'll see that neck, you know, the ears are going way beyond the shoulder blade, collarbones. So what happens now? It's all, you know, it's nice and rounded back. Now you want to correct it, so you need to give him opposite stretches, which will help release the anterior muscles and tighten the posterior muscles. So we countered it with exercises which are more focusing on the tightening of the back muscles.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you so much for answering those questions. I think maybe if you can just sum it up and give me, you know, like 3 things I can do every day to be mindful about my posture. And
I also would like to add that Bettina had a friend who actually kind of noticed that alignment issue, but not everybody will have someone pointing it out to them. So how do you kind of, you know, as you age, how do you get yourself checked, or, you know, how do you, I think you answered, or no, you didn't, you haven't answered.
No, I did, but I can repeat that. But I'll go with her question, what are the 3 things that she can do? One is, the first thing that I like you to do is go to an osteopath or a chiropractor to get the alignment corrected. Then ask them for the exercises that you can do on a day-to-day basis, and this has to be done every single day. You cannot miss even a single day, because we are into the 40s and getting into the 50s, so it's very necessary for us to take appropriate actions at the right time. So that's number 1. Then number 2 is your postures that you let's say, for example, I told you not to cross your legs and sit. So whenever you're sitting, make sure that you sit upright and follow the golden 90 rule. So when you're following the golden 90 rule, at your desk you might see that the neck is, it depends on the level of
the screen.
The screen that is. So if you're going to raise up your, if you have to raise up your chin, that means the next thing that you're going to do is drop the back little, and that's your comfort, because all the anterior muscles are they love to
give in to gravity.
Absolutely, because they are the flexors, so they like to assume that posture. So don't give that chance. Instead, give the opportunity for your back to engage. So you bring the monitor down, or you elevate your chair. So that at all times you maintain this and your neck is at 90. Similarly, let's say when you're cutting vegetables, become mindful. You might notice that you're putting your weight towards one side. If you're standing for a long time, either you'll have a pelvic thrust or you'll have a pelvic tilt. You'll be putting weight onto one side. So as I mentioned, that is also answering your point. Just flip the shoes and see, especially the ones which you're using at home. Flip it and see where exactly the pressure points are. They all have to be even if the weight is distributed evenly throughout. That is the second. And now we go to the third, is regular exercise. And in that case, yoga asanas are the best, because they'll give you a lot of forward stretches, backward stretches, side stretches, and the symmetrical postures will help you synergize both the sides of the muscles. Now, when you go to the osteopath, the good thing is they will tell you which side is shortened and which side is lengthened. So all you have to do is, if you have this understanding, apply that to your asana practice and lengthen the side which is short. So you have 3 simple solutions to address your issues.
Thank you so much, Lalita. I just have one last question, please. You mentioned about the golden rule about keeping your body at right angles.
Yes.
And somehow the thought of it seems like the body is just going to be tense the whole time. So
True,
how does one do that?
So this is one question that I've been faced with many a times when I tell them, my muscles tend to become tight. So the idea itself to maintain the joints at 90 degrees is to relax the muscles. So you don't, it's in the mind that you have to tense and hold it at 90 degrees. What we are saying is, when you're at the desk, make arrangements so that your joints are resting. Let's say if you have an arm rest, you would want to raise the armrest to a certain level such that your elbows are at right angles. So you're not applying any, your muscles are already relaxed. It's just that if you're in this position, it's not a natural position. Natural anatomical position is this position. When you see dead body or whatever, when it opens up, this is the way it opens up. So it's called the anatomical position. So if you're in this position, obviously you can't work like this, isn't it, in front of the desk. So you want to keep it at a position where it is relaxed, and at the same time you're able to do the work in a relaxed fashion. So it's all in the mind. Just get that out of the mind, saying that
you're tense.
This is the best posture for you. Make adjustments. So put a cushion behind your back to keep your muscles relaxed. Similarly, raise if the length of the knee, that is
the
your chair is
very high.
Yeah, exactly. It's too high and your knee is in flexion or hyperextended. Then you might want to raise the foot,
put a footstool
beneath your legs to raise it, so that your ankles are maintained at 90 degrees. So you're giving comfort, you're not tensing any muscle, all the muscles will relax, and it's just a matter of practice. So once you get used to it, it's exactly like how you start practicing or getting into the habit of bad postures. You can set it all upright, once you start becoming conscious, and every day make sure you do it.
Got it. Great. So basically the golden rule is something that sets your body in the most relaxed position versus the versus the opposite.
Exactly.
Bad posture.
Yes. Because any other posture is just going to strain your neck. Let's say this is also going to strain your neck. A lot of people have neck issues which get relieved when they automatically follow this golden rule, golden 90 rule.
And actually we mistake bad posture eventually for a relaxed state, whereas probably early enough, if we had learnt the right way of sitting, and then probably all these issues wouldn't have cropped up.
It's the same with the breathing, right? Many of us, tell me how many of us actually breathe right. When we breathe in, they take the stomach in. But it should be like a balloon when we breathe in. So this is the fundamental mistake that all of us make. We don't even know that, and when we are trying to change it, that's a stress for them.
Absolutely. That's true. So any more questions, Bettina?
That's it. Thank you so much. I think you've given me a pretty good direction about what I should be doing and an action plan. And I look forward to coming back with aligned hips.
That will be lovely.
Happy you got some inputs.
A takeaway, if you will. So thank you so much, Bettina, for coming and for joining us on this talk show and telling us about yourself and raising this issue. Through this, I'm sure a lot of viewers will kind of find that they also will be able to do something about their alignment issues, and probably even kind of identify it early on, so that they can do something about it. Thank you so much for watching, and we hope you enjoyed it. I would like to leave you with a thought from one of the stories on humansof2020.com, where Valresh ends her story by saying that we don't need successful people, or we don't need more successful people. We need encouragers, we need healers, we need basically more kindness in this world, so that we leave this world in a better shape than we inherited it, not just for us but for generations to come. Thank you so much. Hope to see you again. Namaste.